The Dead Sea. The oldest existing scroll of the biblical prophet Isaiah was concealed here 2,000 years ago. Jews hid and prayed in these caves. The Romans had just destroyed Jerusalem. They dispersed the Jews to the far corners of the world. Isaiah had prophesied an eventual redemption, a return to the Holy Land.
Fear not, for I am with you. I will bring your seed from the east and gather you from the west. God will assemble the outcasts of Israel and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth.
Isaiah envisioned a Messiah, a Redeemer, will emerge. The Messiah will usher in an end of days, a time where God will reign supreme. Christians and Jews have very different perceptions of the end of days prophecy. Donna Holbrook is leaving for Jerusalem, where she believes is the epicenter of a coming end of days.
Well, you have fun.
You have a wonderful trip.
Bye-bye. God chose to provide a way for redemption, personal redemption, through the land of Israel and through the Jewish people. There is an unfolding of the prophetic right now. There is the restoration of the Jewish people to the land of Israel. There is no question about that. If you are alive during the time of the forming of the state of Israel, you will then see the coming of the Messiah, the return of the Messiah, Jesus Christ. We are not to know the time or the hour. We are in an exciting time period where all of this is unfolding before us.
The International Christian Embassy is a convergence of international evangelism in Jerusalem.
Bienvenue, welcome, France.
Donna is leading the Canadian delegation. They are united by a common belief shared by tens of millions around the world. The end of days is near, and Christians must work hard and prepare for that epic moment.
To be in one room with thousands of Christians from over 100 nations is probably one of the most exhilarating feelings I've ever had. And they are on fire, and they come to love and support Israel.
For Donna and these evangelists, working hard for end of days means working hard to bring Jews back to Israel. And that will lead to the second coming of Jesus Christ. With millions of Jews coming to Israel, Donna believes that prophetic ingathering of exiles is occurring. and the end of days process has begun.
And the prophet Isaiah said, "The redeemed of the Lord will return and come with singing unto Zion." Hallelujah! 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 What a future!
What I find fascinating about Jeremiah or Isaiah, Ezekiel, Joel, Zechariah, so many of these passages, is that they wrote these prophecies 2,500 years ago. You look in our lifetime, the wave of Jews coming from the former Soviet Union, over 1 million, and then there's millions more still there. Between 30 and 40 planes of all shapes and sizes scooped up 14,800 Ethiopians. You look at the prophecy, it says, "I'll say to the north, give them up, the south, hold not back. The north gave them up, the south held them not back." You can put them all together and see that each one of them wrote about something that, with a date, a precise date, as to when they began to be fulfilled. So you say, well, where was God in the Holocaust? Ezekiel 37, he sees the bone coming upon bone, the sinew, the flesh, to the valley of dry bones, where the people find themselves in their graves and cut off. The Jews were decimated as a people. And then God says he breathed life into this being. Ezekiel says, "I will raise them up and bring them back into their land, restore them as a people." Without the hand of God, there's no way the nation of Israel would become a state in 1948. That's why we believe that these prophets truly were the prophets of God with a word for his people Israel, and we see it being fulfilled today, and that's why the Christian Zionists want to be a part of prophecy.
I say it again, the God of Israel has brought his people back. I say it again, the God of Israel is building up Zion.
The powerful Christian Zionist support for Israel has been greeted with mixed feelings by many Jews. Centuries of anti-Semitism and efforts to convert Jews leaves a cloud of mistrust. Ellen Horowitz is an Israeli painter and writer. Her works are popular with Christian Zionists.
We've learned through our history that our very best friends have abandoned us and sometimes betrayed us. I don't think the Christian Zionists will be betraying or abandoning Israel. But again, depending on what type of events unfold here, the dynamic of our relationship could change. There are potential problems, and I think we have to be real, and we have to be aware. We have to respect but suspect.